Good morning and welcome to London Heathrow Airport. So this is a bit of a redemption flight where we are going back to Gibraltar to hopefully make a decent landing. This is in response to a stream that I did a couple of days prior, actually yesterday, from when I am recording this, where we had a bit of a glitch coming in and the aircraft, thanks to, I'm blaming Microsoft outright for this one, making the aircraft roll uncontrollably over to the right as we're landing, which could have been perfect. So I'm redoing it, this time pre-recording, not doing a live stream, and we are taking the real route off Heathrow to Gibraltar. Anyway, so it looks like the catering truck has finished up. So last of the passengers are also boarding. We are pretty much all ready to go. Let's have a quick look at the map for today's flight path. Starting in Heathrow, we'll be on ramp 224, or gate 224 in Terminal 3. I think that's Terminal, I'm pretty sure that's Terminal 3. Terminal 3 is where the British Airways A320 does depart from when it is heading to Gibraltar. From there, we'll taxi out to runway 09 right, and we will be departing on the May to Juliet SID. We will make a right turn and start heading south and sort of head all the way down across the United Kingdom, and then we'll cross over Spain here just adjacent to Bilbao. And I've got some custom markers here because otherwise it does take us straight through to Gibraltar without really giving us any opportunity for a proper approach. So I've put custom waypoints. We'll come down over the ocean and then we'll make our final approach down straight into the runways. In Heathrow this morning, the weather is not the greatest. We have got light rain right down to 700 feet, and we've got 9 degrees centigrade on the ground. Just a classic miserable winter's day here in Heathrow with the rain. Let's have a quick look at the weather for both our departure and arrival. So as you can see in Heathrow, like I said, we've got scattered cloud down to 700 feet, 9 degrees centigrade, light rain. It does sound like it's a little heavier than light. And then clouds broken up to 1100 feet plus 2000 feet, and then it should be clear almost all the way down to Gibraltar, and we'll just check that weather while we're here as well. We have got, when it loads, so we've got the wind 260 for 2 at present. Hopefully that wind doesn't pick up too much in the 2-hour trip down to Gibraltar. 15 degrees centigrade and clear, which is ideal because it is VFR all the way in. There is no ILS or RNAV at this airport. We do have to do this all visually. So it should be a reasonably easy approach. Hopefully that headwind does hold, and the like I said, the wind speed doesn't climb too much above at what it is now. Let's jump into the flight deck and get this bird in the air. So we are pretty much all set up and ready to go. Get things underway and get out of here. So first of all, as usual, battery is coming on. APU master switch. Get the nav light and logo. Beacon can come on, strobe onto auto, and the landing lights can be detracted, ready for the takeoff. We'll start the APU, and as always, it does take a couple of starts. Just a glitch that we've had since Sim Update 11. Awesome, APU is on its way up. Passengers pretty much have finished loading, so we will get rid of the jetway now. So seatbelt signs need to come on, and jetway can retract. Okay, there goes the jetway. We'll also get the pushback tug into position. We can get the APU bleed on, external power can come off, and we'll get some fuel pumps turned on also. We get ignition into start, and parking brake can come off as well. I can see my frame rate dropping. This is the bespoke airport at Heathrow, so hopefully we don't have crash to desktop, because I don't want to have to start this flight all over again. We will start the engines just before, probably about halfway down this part of the apron here, and then we will turn, which way are we turning? Sorry, I'm pointing the mouse the wrong way. Tail to the left. Okay, so engine start for number 2. think that's the way I want it to. Yeah, I do. That's 09 right down the other end there. While we're making turn, just check our QNH is 2950. Perfect. Didn't quite line up to the taxi line, but that's okay. I'll get that parking brake on. And our tug should be visible soon. Oh, there he goes. Okay, engine number 2 is up and running. We'll get engine number 1 powered up. Oh, I probably should put on AI-ATC. We can put flaps to 1 for this takeoff, and we'll also arm the speed brake. There it is. We should have our taxi heading already. Right, taxi and hold short runway at 09 right. Oh yeah, cool. It's pretty much just straight down and hang a left. There is engine number 1 started up. APU can come off. Taxi lights will turn on. Ignition back to normal and parking brake coming off. It's taxi out. It is really wet in Heathrow today. Rain is relentless almost. I have got a new scenery pack installed, so we can see actual aircraft. We've got a few, looks like Virgin Atlantic, maybe 787s actually, I think they are. There's an A380 from British Airways in front of us there. At the wrong terminal, should be at Terminal 5. This is coming up on Terminal 4, I think. And it looks like I've got some British Airways A320s up ahead as well. Alrighty, that was the longest taxi in history. Down to 90 right. Should get our takeoff clearance pretty much straight away. Just stop her here. Okay, turn off, so wind 100 at 7, it's saying 80 at 4 on the Metar, but we are clear for takeoff. QNH is correct. So get rid of that. We will put the takeoff lights on, or the landing lights on rather. Auto brake set to max. And we will head on out to the runway and get this bird in the air. Okay, so on the threshold we will power up to 50%. And that's stable up to flex for today's takeoff. Passing 100. V1 rotate. Positive rate gear is coming up. We can lose that flap and leave it into climb. Excellent. Aircraft will correct itself on the course. I did go veer off a little bit to the left more than I wanted to. But that is otherwise looking good. We'll just check the ATC, of course. Still 2950, climbing to 13,000. Awesome. We can lose that speed brake as well. Disarm it? No, disarm. There we go. Not the best visuals today on our departure out of Heathrow. Now, I thought this rain would have disappeared above 3,000, but clearly not. Looks like we're with it for another few thousand feet. Go, that's 10,000, so landing lights can come off just as we break through out into the sunny day above us. Oh, that was perfectly timed. Okay, approaching 13,000. See what the next instruction is. Go. For some reason they want me to maintain 220 knots. Not going to happen because I've already passed or coming up to 300, so a little bit too late there, but climb maintain to flight level 250. Should be the last of the clouds, and then we will be up into the blue sky. Should be fairly calm for most of the way down. Looks like we will have a bit of a tailwind, maybe, actually no, it'll be a bit of a crosswind initially. Hopefully we have a tailwind as we get further down. It will push us down a little bit quicker. Look at that, that is absolutely stunning. Bit of lost frame rate there in the clouds, we'll ignore that. But otherwise it's looking pretty good. Okay, it's above 180, so we will put the QNH to standard. And I will be back with you once we have reached the cruise altitude. We're just approaching cruise altitude now for flight level 360, so the engines will starting to settle. We can get the seatbelt signs into off, so enjoy some some outside views for a couple of minutes, and I will be back with you when we're at top of descent. So you can see the cloud has cleared just a little bit for us, but there is epic thick cloud ahead of us also. It is just hugging the mountaintops below us, and we are approximately, let's have a look, I think, yeah, we're about 320 nautical miles away from our final turn on approach. We'll start descending in approximately 15 minutes or so, maybe 20. And this is the 2/3 mark as we come down over Spain to cross the coast and get out to Gibraltar. So currently cruising at 36,000 feet at a speed of Mach 0.78, so still in standard cruise. I will be right back with the top descent and of course the actual descent down into Gibraltar fairly soon. Alright, we are at 120 nautical miles away from making our descent onto final, so we will start dropping the altitude down fairly soon. So top descent is just a mere few miles away. We are coming down, landing on runway 27, so we don't have to go around the Rock of Gibraltar to make our approach. As I just said that, the wind has actually changed and it is going to be a tailwind as we come in, so I have to make a decision. Do I come about and land on runway 09 or do I stay on runway 27? That is the question. I think because it's only 3 knots, we will continue with the route that we are taking and land on runway 27, and we'll take a risk. Our speed has just dropped to 242 knots. Let's check ATC. I'm actually going to manually request down to 280 because I don't trust the ATC in the sim. So we'll do that at 2,000 feet per minute. And we'll just keep assessing our altitude as we go. Just arriving at 280 now, so we are coming up to 80 miles away from turn on to final. So we'll actually request another 6,000 feet down to 220, and we should be just above 60 miles away by the time we reach 220. I'm going to do that at 1,800 feet per minute for now, and I'll just keep an eye on our altitude versus distance as we go. Okay, ATC is doing its the same thing it was doing in the live stream. It's all over the place. So down to 14,000, then down to 4,000. So we will start vectoring down to 4,000 for now. We want to be at about 2,500 when we make our final turn onto approach. I think that'll give us the right altitude to sort of pick up the glide slope and get down onto the ground. So currently at flight level 218, descending to 4,000 feet. We do have an arrival time of around, I'm going to say, within the next 15 minutes, but I will be obviously cutting out most of the descent just to speed it up a little bit for you watching on the channel. But we will get seatbelts on now because we're coming down to 20,000 feet. It's close enough, this will do. And then below 18,000 we will put in the QNH. Currently it's at 30.30. Wind is still the same. It is still 3 knots coming in from the southeast. Not ideal for landing on runway 27, but we are going to persevere and keep going with that. Coming down to 18,000 feet, so we'll get that QNH of 3030 punched in now. Which will give us a little more altitude on the clock. So best to get it in now before it really gives us an incorrect reading. So 18,600 descending, descending down to 4,000. I'm going to check ATC is now saying 4,600. I'm going to leave it at 4,000. We'll pretty much just make our own way down to 2,500 feet for there, so we won't have to worry too much about the ATC. Because I've got custom waypoints in there, I think that is messing with the timing. It does say that we have an arrival time of 12:24. It's currently 12:48, so it's a little bit off. We've just past 11,000, descending down to 4,000, pretty close to 10,000, so we can get the landing lights turned on now. We will start putting flaps out 15 miles before turn, because it is only about 5 miles for the final, for approach. And we will just slowly coast it down. We should have an auto decel to, it looks like, around 212 knots fairly soon, so that'll be coming. I'm just going to let the computer do its thing for that one, because we are descending at a nominal rate for this approach. So far, so good. We're just making our second to last turn before we make the turn to the right on final. That's 15 miles away from there, so I am actually going to put flaps down to 1. We will arm the speed brake while we're there as well. We'll just keep it coming down. I've got it descending at 1,200 feet per minute. I'm going to punch in 2,500 feet for the approach. At this descent rate, we probably want to raise the nose just a little bit, just so we don't come down too early. And then we're just hovering above the water at 2,500 feet. Can see Gibraltar off to the right-hand side. There is the rock. So field in sight, that is the field right where the mouse cursor is in there. And banking on a, I want to say perfect landing. Banking on a landing that qualifies as good, shall we say. 10 miles from turn, we'll go to flaps 2. Get that speed down a bit. Once we're in flaps 3, I will drop the speed right down to 160. But we won't do that until we have, I'll do that just before the turn, I think. Actually, no, I'm lying. I'll do that 10 miles from landing, so it'll be 5 miles from the turn. I'm just going to check to see if they've given us a QNH 3029, so Metar is pretty much bang on. We have got cleared for visual runway 27 approach. I'm a little bit nervous about the wind. Just going to see if it's updated. Still sitting at 3 knots, coming from a southeast direction, so will be a bit of a tailwind for landing, which is not ideal, but it's what we're dealing with on this flight today. Okay, 5 away from turn, so 10 from landing. We're going to go to flaps 3. We will drop the speed down to 160. And we're 1,000 feet or so, 900 feet away from descent down on final. We should have landing clearance by now, I should imagine. No, we've still got visual approach, awesome. We will have landing clearance very soon. Just going to change the view to that one, sorry. That was the 2,500 call. Should have the airport directly in front of us somewhere. Not there, that is mainland Africa. There we go. So runway dead ahead as we come around the turn. We will make up. We will. What am I trying to say? We will get back onto the route as we go around. I'm going to drop us down by 1,000 feet. I'm going to do that at 500 feet per minute to begin with. We should have landing clearance by now. We don't. Okay, cool. We should be able to see the pappies from here, I think, if I zoom. They are showing 2 white, 2 red, so we are actually on a good glide slope. We can get the gear down. We'll set brakes to medium for this landing. Just going to double check, are we above our, we are sitting a little bit too high, so I'm going to actually take manual control and let's get us lined up, and we will drop a nose just a little bit, get us down onto the correct glide slope. We'll go flaps to full and speed as determined by computer, so it should be landing speed 145 knots. So completely flying by hand for this approach. We're still coming in a little too low. I'm just judging by the pappies. Keep getting 3 red. There we go. Now that's a little bit better. According to the data I've got, there's no wind, which is good.
300.
Oh no, there's that tailwind. The tailwind has picked up. So we can stay on target. Don't you tip over like yesterday.
100, 60, 50, 40, 30.
Drop
20.
thrust.
Retard 5.
Come on. There we go. 2 in reverse. Manual braking down to 60. Stow reverses. And we will come about and backtrack down the runway right here. While we're doing that, let's get the landing lights off. And we'll just slow down for this turn. Let's not throw the plane sideways. Definitely a redemption from yesterday's stream. I'm glad that I have sent that to the Windows recycling bin, and it's completely gone. You will not see that on the stream. This one will definitely replace it on the channel, I should say, not on the stream. I'm not sure if you can tell by the sound of my voice, but I'm very happy with that. We were a little bit outside off the touchdown zone, but we did have plenty of tarmac in front of us to slow down, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just tidy some things up here. And we should get in touch with ATC and request taxi to parking. Excellent, gate straight ahead. There's another British Airways A320 already parked up, and looks like we've got EasyJet A320 Neo already here as well. Awesome, let's get the parking brake on and we'll shut down engine 2 and 1. And while that's coming down, we'll turn the nav lights and the beacon off. We'll get external power on engine 1 and engine 2 bleeds come off, generator 1, generator 2, and the fuel pumps. We can also take the APU off because we are now on ground power, and we'll just pretend that the staircase has connected itself, and seatbelts can come off. But welcome to Gibraltar, everyone. Thank you very much for watching along for this redemption flight to make up for a terrible stream that I did do the day before, which again, as I've said, the footage of it does not exist. So we're usually streaming twice a week, Thursday nights and Sunday mornings, that is Australian Eastern Standard Time. But if you want to know when I'm streaming in your part of the world, just hit that subscribe button, like the video if you want, just so this can spread to more people and they can join in the fun. Otherwise, look out for future videos just like this, and we'll see you again real soon.